Welcome to the 40 Plus Podcast.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your host, Mario J. Brown.
And I'm your host, Kimberly Marie Brown.
And this is the hangout spot where we touch and inspire those who are 40 plus.
We talk about deep and inspirational conversations on faith, on family,
finance, career, and relationships.
I'm so excited.
Man,
who do we have today?
I am truly excited and honored. We have a special guest today, y'all. We have a power couple in the house by the name of Joe and Yolanda Adams, and we can't wait to bring them up. Y'all gonna get filled with wisdom tonight.
Oh my goodness, this is gonna be some good conversation. We've been waiting for this debut, and this was so God ordained because out of all the guests that we have for the podcast, we did not know that season 1 they would be our guests.
Absolutely. So we have some very special topics tonight. We're going to tackle age differences.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Breaking stereotypes.
Yeah. Negativity spoken over relationships. Mm-hmm. We're talking about sexually satisfied at 40 plus.
Yes. That's a big one too. Ooh, fear pertaining to death. We're talking about that today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So many good topics. But before we go into our topics and bring our guests up, we want to just recap last week. Man, so much positive feedback from last week with our bro Tim Matthews. Shout out to Tim Matthews from Tampa, Florida. Man, we talked about dating in 2023, and it was powerful. What else did we discuss last week? Catfishing.
Tim told a story that if you don't know what now, and it's funny because we had asked Mr. Joe and Yolanda behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Did they know what catfishing was? Joe said the regular catfishing.
Catfish you eat.
Right. They had to look it up. So if you don't know what catfishing is, if you don't know a lot about online dating, 40 plus for 2023, you definitely want to tune in to last week's episode.
Absolutely. So without further ado, we want to welcome our guests, Mr. Joe and Yolanda Adams. Y'all give it up for them. Give it up for them. What's going on?
Hey, hello. Another day.
Yep. We are so honored to have you guys. Thank you for taking time to join us. We know that our listeners are going to be blessed tonight by a lot of things that you share and wisdom. And man, we've already got ahead of it. So we know some of the insights of what you're going to be telling us tonight. But we definitely want to start out getting to know you guys. Who are you? Tell us your story, where you come from, how you came together, how you met. Let's find about you.
Oh, he want me to say it. First of all, the age difference is 13 years because I'm 55 and he's 68. And we actually really got together at his niece's wedding. Rehearsal. Yeah, the wedding rehearsal. And I was the bridesmaid and he was a groomsman. And he ended up walking me down the aisle. And his sister has this running joke that I grabbed his arm and wouldn't let it go. And I ain't let it go since. Because we were fine at the rehearsal, right? But when I saw him in that white tux, it was all over.
Wow.
Come on.
It was all over. It was all over. And I think that's what got me because I was in such a dark place at that time, you know.
Yeah. I know we're going to get to all of that. Mr. Joe, what's your story? What was your experience when you first saw Miss Yolanda?
Well, she claimed I didn't see nothing but from her neck down.
Told you the age.
Well, actually, when we first met, I was with somebody, but it wasn't no good. I was getting out of that anyway. So after my niece's wedding, and I kind of just ran off from that, and we started seeing one another.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was something I was getting out of anyway. It had went on too long without anything happening.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah.
It took 2 months, right, to chase me.
Just got out of it. You know.
Yeah.
And I was probably doing things then I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
This woman was married too.
Okay. Keep it real. All right.
Yeah, she was married, but sometimes I didn't know if she was married or not. Cause how could you spend whole weekend with me,
Man.
and you married? Go to Denver on vacation, and you married.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Arkansas, and you married.
Yeah.
You know, I never did understand that, and I didn't really care at the time, so I didn't really get into all of that.
Hey, man.
You know, I was just hanging out.
I understand. We listen.
Yeah.
We all came from somewhere. Work in progress, right?
Yeah,
God still continuous to work on us. What was your?
Actually, he answered one of my questions I had too. I was going to ask Mr. Joe, like, how did he know that, that relationship was going on too long? But you kind of went into that. And I was going to ask Yolanda, so when it came to, you say you were in a dark place. Talk to us about that. What place were you in when God sent Joe into your life?
I was in a bad marriage. I was in a bad marriage. It had got really toxic. It had got violent. I'm keeping it real. It wasn't just one person, it was both of us, because I had gotten to the point where I just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
It was violent. We were, fighting and stuff. And that's what the place I was in. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And then when I saw Joe in that white tux, it's like, wait a minute. It's like something just lifted, off of me when I saw him in that white tux, like, okay. But I was still scared.
Mm-hmm.
I was still scared. I really was. And it was about what? You chased me 2 months. Because I looked at him, I'm like, this old man ain't thinking about him. I ain't thinking about him. But it was just a wedding day when I saw him, and it was just something about that white tux. I don't know what it was, but it just got me.
So too bad I rented it. I had to turn it back in.
I was just about to ask you. I was like, I hope you still got that white tux. Need to hang that up. Man, that's a beautiful story. I wanted to know from both of you, so you both can answer this question for me. So, Joe, have you ever dated younger, or was this the first time?
Oh, not this young. A couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah, but not no 13 years. No. Mm-mm.
Okay. What about you, Miss Yolanda?
No, I never dated younger.
You never dated. What about older? Had you
No,
dated?
Joe is the first one.
Joe is the first one. Okay. So tell us about that experience. How did you guys come to the conclusion that you wanted to go ahead and give it a try, knowing that there was such a big age difference between the two of you?
I don't know, it was just something about you when we went to his niece's house. His niece had a little get together, and she was showing the wedding tape. And he came over, and I was like, oh, okay, he here. Let me give him a little makeup and stuff on, a little lipstick and stuff. I can be cute.
They set me up.
No, we did. Like, you get cute. And that, watching the wedding tape and him walking down the aisle, it was so funny because she had the guys to carry the rose and present it to the bridesmaids. And I didn't realize I was cheesing from ear to ear.
Wow.
Even when he gave me the rose, I didn't even notice that I had did that. Wow. And then we just got to talking. Yeah, we just got to talking. And then you had asked me to go to the restaurant with you, to Applebee's. Yep.
Okay. Wow. So did you have any reservations about, the fact that he was older or that she was younger? Was there anything that went through your mind like, I really like him. I think I'm feeling something here, but was there an obvious age difference, or do you feel like physically that's kind of match? You just looked.
No, it was a match. I didn't never really give it a lot of thought. Matter of fact, I knew she was a little bit older than my niece.
Okay.
But I didn't really, it was a while before I even asked her how old she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at that time I was 38 and he was 51 at that time.
Okay.
So I have a question for you, Joe. Was the conversation so stimulating that you wouldn't even have known that it was that much of an age difference?
No, I didn't. I really didn't know. Yeah. Yeah. The conversation was really good. And I ain't even thought about age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even really think about, at that time I didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What were some of the things that stuck out about her? Her personality, her conversation. If you
Yeah.
can go back to that time, what were some of the things that you were smitten by? Because at that point, 51, right? You
Yeah.
have been able to date. You have been around other women. You've been in different circles. But what was it about her that just had you smitten?
She had a really good personality, and she looked good.
Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, and I could see she was real smart too. Because at that time, I wasn't doing nothing I was supposed to been doing. They were talking about taking my driver's license and everything else because I wouldn't pay my parking ticket. And she said, "No." She said, I'm gonna fix this so you can pay this."
Wow.
No, she's real smart too, and she still pay all the bills.
Joe, you have me cracking up talking about I was 51, but I was out here now.
Well, she paid. Well, she take care. This is the banker.
Oh,
Yeah, she take care of all of it. I picked up some bad habits
yeah.
when I was in the military.
Really?
I was living on the base. I didn't have no bills, and all you do is get your check and cash it and go mess it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about it.
Mm.
And some of them habits kind of spilled over into being a civilian.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I can't do that no more though, because the drill sergeant won't let me do it.
All right. You know
A
what?
good woman.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. It's something about how a good woman will change you and make things a lot better for
Yep, it is a lot better.
they come to good.
I would probably still be doing the same thing if I hadn't met her and met somebody completely opposite of her.
Wow.
You know.
That's beautiful.
A match made in heaven.
Man, I want to make a statement and ask you guys what you think about it. We hear this all the time. Age ain't nothing but a number. Would you agree with that or disagree?
Age ain't nothing but a number. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
It's nothing but a number.
You know.
It is. It's nothing.
I don't know, but then you got to kind of look a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
One person is a lot older than the other one. I know you said you're gonna mention something about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
About depth.
Yeah, we definitely gonna talk about that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some things to consider. I mean, we've heard some good and bad with people that have dated with a large age gap.
Yeah.
Sometimes, they just aren't on the same page.
Yeah.
And it can be very challenging.
Mhm.
Yeah. It can't.
In this case, we have you guys who have, with this age gap have just killed it.
Yeah.
And so it's encouraging for other people that may be watching to see that it worked for them. So it's possible. We know that it's possible. So what's some of the things that you would give advice on to help you even look past the whole age gap thing? What's some things that you will give to somebody that may be considering dating older or younger, but they're like, I want somebody kind of a little bit closer to me.
Yeah.
For me, with him being older, it wasn't no game playing with him.
Mm-hmm.
And experience, in the past and stuff, you'd have met, they want to play games, they want to do this. It wasn't that with him. He was straightforward with me.
Yeah.
He was. And he told me when we, finally started dating and stuff, he's like, I am not going to pay for your ex-husband's mistakes.
Amen.
Yeah.
He said that up front, and he meant every word of it. And he said, if you're going to continue to carry luggage and carry this baggage with me, he said, no, it's not going to be with me.
Can we stop and just pause just for a minute? For those of you who are watching, viewing, this is your time to like, to share, to subscribe. If you listen to the wisdom right there, I'm not going to pay for your ex's mistakes. And that luggage, I think we all need to really dig into that and realize 40 plus, we have to deal with that. And we have to really get our lives in order if we want love again, if we want healthy love, if we want to yoke ourselves with another partner, because it really is unfair the older we get. And that's what I love about this, Mr. Joe. We do pick up baggage and we have experiences about time we get to, later 30s into 40s and up. But why should our if we finally find our soulmate, why should our soulmate pay for the mistakes of previous relationships? You know?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's powerful.
That happens a lot. And then you end up sabotaging something that's really good for you, meant for you.
Yeah, and it is because I was still kind of, he said I was still kind of guarded, but I didn't realize I was guarded until he came. He was playing with me one day and he raised his hands at me and I did this. Brought my fist up. I was in defense mode because I thought he was coming at me.
Yeah.
And he was only playing with me, trying to hug me and squeeze me tight.
Yeah, because I asked her, what's the matter? What's wrong with you? And then she had told me about some of the things that had happened with her ex-husband. So,
yeah, those triggers.
Yeah, it was a trigger. And now, you know, I learned to do it because this is how we play, you know, and have fun with each other. So it wasn't no attack. He was just playing and wanted to love and hug, and you know, that's what he was doing.
Yeah, now I have to duck.
Oh, whatever. Whatever. I told you to behave. This is what we do.
She told me a lot of things would happen, you know.
Yeah.
With that guy. Matter of fact, I might as well tell y'all this too. Me and him actually got in a fight.
Wow, really?
Yeah. They was in the middle of the divorce.
Okay.
And he said, well, she's still my wife. And he was gonna run by me and jump on her. See, he wasn't man enough to try to punch me.
Right.
But see, I beat him up. You know. Hey, I wasn't even in church at the time. But I had, you know, how would that have looked if I had just let him jump on her and I'm standing there?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That wouldn't go across at all, you know.
Yeah.
I had to get that straightened out right there and then. I didn't have but a second to do it. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he learned that day, huh?
Yeah, he learned that day.
Yeah.
Didn't have no more problems with that no more.
Man.
It was a lot. We went through the good, the bad. We always, you know, say we went through the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
And that was part of the ugliness. And then when we did get together, that's when all these stereotypes start coming.
And I'm glad you went to that too. I'm glad you went to that. Want to take a time to give a shout out to our Bishop Crumb. He must be watching and feeling the energy of us taping, because he called while you guys were taping, but it was funny. He called because the thing that I love about him being our spiritual leader is that he is very open, honest, and transparent about the ups and downs that we go through in life. And so I love the fact that you guys are doing the same thing with us and just being open that, listen, we've been through a lot in our relationship, and this is what God has done. So speaking of the stereotypes, how were you guys able to navigate through all of these thoughts and opinions and different things that people said about your relationship in the early stages? Because the early stages of development in any relationship are so important, right? We're getting to know each other. You know, we want to remove fear. Like you said, Joe, we want to remove baggage. We want to come in really pure with pure intentions. And it can make things complicated when people are speaking all of these different things into such a new relationship. How did you guys navigate the voices outside of the relationship and the stereotypes?
And tell us some of the things that may have been shared and said to you guys.
For me, it was hard because I was still, you know, want to cuss everybody out and fight everybody, because it's like, look now, what are y'all doing? And the first thing that came up was, she just with him for his money. And we joke about it today, and we've been together, married 15 years. I'd be like, okay, I've married to you 15 years. Can I get the money now? You know, we joke about it. You know, we joke about it because that was the first thing that was said. She just with him for his money. I'm like, I work. You know, what's going on? I work. So that was hard too, because it's like, I really like him. And then what he doing with that young tail girl? I'm like, well, wait a minute now. Absolutely. Y'all don't even know me.
That was my brother's wife said that.
Uh-oh, he done put out.
What he doing? What he doing with that young tail girl? Well, you old in here, so what?
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard. It was and my dad thought he was a pimp.
Mm.
He thought he was a pimp.
He thought I was just looking for some woman to take care of me.
So how did you end up building that relationship with Dad? How did that end up playing out?
Well, we had a conversation on the phone. We didn't get real crazy or nothing. I just told him what way things were, because I had been on my same job when I talked to him maybe 20 years.
At the time.
At that time, you know, I just told him what was going on. I'm trying to help her.
Yeah.
You know, and ain't nothing gonna happen to her while she with me. Because he said the other big old guy was crazy. And they just thought they thought because of the situation she was in, she would just hook up with anybody that come along.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go.
That's a lot of people make too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And I had to get that part of it straightened out. So we got along good ever since then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard. It was because it took him, because we had been married about 3 years at that time, and my dad, he's my stepdad, but I don't say stepdad a lot, I just say dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he called him on the phone and told him, I can finally let her go.
Yeah. That's what's up.
You can finally let me go. Because my half sister, she died at the hands of her husband. So that's why my dad is so protective of the girls.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he's like that. So it was about 3 or 4 years, wasn't it? Yeah. He said, I can finally let her go.
Man, that's why I love talking to seasoned people, because you guys have lived life and seen so much in this world. And how can we not respect you and the things that you've been through and that you don't get a chance to talk about all the time?
No.
You know, that's why I even appreciate this platform. I believe this is why God gave it to us, for you all to have a voice as well, because we need what you have.
Yeah.
And to see how you're standing and how you made it through such traumatic times, and you know, all of the challenges that you face and that you made it through. Man, it's just beautiful. I'm really appreciative. Thank you guys so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Because it hasn't been easy, you know, even when we talk to other people, you know, it's like, it's not easy. They always say, y'all seem so happy all the time. I say, it has not been easy. We've gone through things, and, you know, we bump heads, you know, and it's funny because when we argue, I still be mad. He'll say what he got to say. He dumb. Like, wait a minute. He's done. And he's like, look, I ain't got time to be arguing all day.
Right.
That's how he is.
I go in my garden. In the summer and work.
I understand.
And you know, I always got along good with her girls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the grandkids, they call me grandpa, just like if I were their biological granddaddy.
Yeah.
You know, so.
You guys never had children together?
No.
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 It's the love. It's the love. You were going to ask a question.
I just forgot.
Yeah, it was good.
I remember my question. So, Joe, I was going to ask you, is that something that you developed over time, or was that kind of your personality as far as being able to get upset and, you know, you ain't going to spend no time arguing. You're going to say what you got to say and let it go? Because I think it's a skill or maybe a personality trait. So would you attribute it to that, or is that something you learned?
No, I think that's a personality trait.
Okay.
Because I used to wouldn't have put up with some stuff. Well, when I was younger.
Gotcha.
You know, and it's something you pick up over time. But if it ain't going nowhere, you need to leave it alone anyway.
Yeah.
You know, you know, we could walk around in this house and argue for days.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't do no good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wouldn't do no good. So you might as well just leave it there. Just let her fuss and I'll go.
just let her have it.
Huh? Yeah. Hey, she'll eventually stop, and then everything be calm again.
That's the yin and the yang.
But we we do. We get along. We do. We have a great relationship. You know, we laugh. Even at church, when we get to church, and some of the ladies they'll be like, "Hey, Mr. Joe, how you doing?" He'll walk around. He'll pull out his pocket from the inside out and walk around to see what my wife doing. She left me with lint. I was like, Joe. See, she spending all my money, just left me with lint. I said, "Oh my goodness, no, he didn't."
Yeah, her and no 25 or 30 Broman purses she got.
And see, let's talk about that. We've laughed so much already on this platform, just in this interview. How big is that to just have a friendship and laughter in your relationship?
It's important to me because I didn't have that before in my other marriage. I didn't. It was always work, 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 pay the bills, you know, do this, do that. But not with him. It's like we play, we laugh, and sometimes, you know, if I'm we had a little thing yesterday. I was bamming on the door, and I'm like, "Joe, get to the door." And my mama was like, "Use your key." I said, "I ain't using my key. He gonna open this door for me." And we were laughing about it, but that's how we play. I got scolded. My mama said, "You don't do that." I'm like, "Mom, we playing." We playing, Mom.
That's it.
Yeah.
But we have to, you know, that's why I said we have to be careful sometimes because people take us seriously.
You have to be real careful around her mama.
Oh yeah.
They really, you know, they're from the South and they're really, really old school.
Yeah.
And there's certain things women's supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, like I was telling you, I iron my own clothes.
Yeah.
No.
No.
She ironed all his shirts, his
My
suits when they got a little wrinkle in it or something, you know, things like that. But if a person do that, that's fine.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing against it.
Yeah.
But we have to be careful what we even say around her.
Yeah, because she can take it seriously, and we have to tell Mom we just playing.
Yeah.
You know, we just playing. You know, because when we was at a house for Labor Day, and she said, "Go fix your husband plate." I said, "He a big boy. If he gonna sit there and not want to eat, let him sit there." But I was playing.
Right.
And she was like, "If you don't get in there," I'm like, "Oh Lord, let me get him and fix this man plate."
There you go.
But I don't have a problem with it. It just that's how we just play with each other a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because laughter is good for us. I mean, we laugh a lot.
Yeah.
We be silly, you know. That's just us. Now, don't get me wrong. We've had some debates, and you know, we done bumped heads. But we do. We laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, something you want to share?
It's so funny just to hear the dynamic of your love because Mario and I can relate so much. A lot of people that are around us and know us, laughter is a daily thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing to be at this point in my life and really feel like I found my best friend.
Yeah.
You hear people say that, but to actually live it. But also I think what is really good conversation is just because you found your best friend doesn't mean that it's perfect. So I love the fact that you were saying, you know, me and Joe have this friendship and we laugh and it's these good times, but also we bump heads. But the thing is knowing how to grow through those moments that you bump head. And so I'm just amazed to be living a life with a best friend, you know, to understand how to navigate when we do bump heads and when we disagree, but to keep being transparent and to keep being open and keep digging back in. But every night we giggling, we laughing, we're playing the day, and anything that happens in our life, it literally becomes a comedy skit. I'm like, one of his callings is comedy. This man sing and pastor and do all of these things, but he is the funniest person to me. And I think that's when you know that you've got it right. When you are doing, not that it's perfect, because none of us are perfect. Only Jesus was perfect. But to have a mate where you can really do life and have friendship, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, right. And it's funny because even in the time that we have, had an argument or something, he never stopped doing what he does for me. Like every morning, because I have to be at the clinic, and at 5 o'clock in the morning, we pray every morning before I leave the house. We always pray together. Even if we done had an argument, no, we still gonna. He be like, "Come on here, Lon, we still gonna pray," knowing I be still mad. But he said, "No, we gonna pray." He walks me out to the garage and make sure I get in the car, and I call him on the phone, and he stays on the phone with me until I get in the building. because it's dark outside. And he's like, I never know what can happen. If something happens, I know that you're all right. And I let him know I'm in the building. And he never stops.
Yeah.
He never stops
That's
at
good.
all.
You all had talked about something. You brought up mom, your mother.
Yeah.
And it made me think about a lot of the old school principles that are in place, and and how valuable those things still are, because I think, we sometimes we are so quick to just do away with everything that used to be. And we have to find that balance of what was good, what should we keep and what should we throw out. And I think, it could benefit somebody to I love the fact that my wife, she takes care of me, and she'll make my plate, or some of those old school principles that your mom talked about. So I can see mom being like, hold on, make the plate.
Yeah.
And I just thought about it. I was like, man, I love, just some of those old school principles. And just wondered if there's any old school principles that you all still practice that you may have learned from your parents or saw from your parents, and that you're passing down, or that you're utilizing even now in your marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I like to, fixing a plate and the cooking and making sure that he's okay. Even though now he's retired, I still make sure that he has a lunch or something that he can just throw in the microwave or something while I'm at work. I still make sure that he's taken care of that way, with the old school, and making sure the house is clean, because that's our thing. He takes care of the outside and I'm doing the inside.
Okay.
Because I feel that's still my job as his wife, to help take care of, because he's taking care of me and I take care of him.
Yes. And I think that's something good as we're talking about this. It's so much conversation now on old school meeting new school. And where are we? Because to be honest, it's not the 50s, it's not the 60s. We are literally in 2023. And so what do relationships look like now? And what's the balance? And what things do we still need? And what things don't we? And I see so many couples fight over, well, I was raised this way and I saw it this way. I was raised this way and I saw it this way. But what I appreciate now in this season of my life is really understanding that when you find your partner, your soulmate, your purpose partner, really whatever you do is out of genuine love. It's not out of like, it's mandatory, or out of like, it's a word I'm looking for, like out of duty or repetition or tradition. But I find myself having so much joy now, being able to do the things that I want to do for Mario, because I truly love him and want to make sure he's okay. But then also I have to speak to the fact of being a younger woman born in 84, that also I like to speak up and say, okay, well, I enjoyed this, but I kind of don't enjoy this. Or how can we do a mixture? Or how can we do things together? And so it's been really good and fruitful, in our marriage, to actually do some things together, like cooking together and family time together. And you see women providing with the husbands now and helping. And so it's this beautiful balance and symphony now, I think, in marriage that we probably didn't see before, but just wanted to encourage people to figure out what works for your marriage. Figure out how you guys can truly love and serve each other. And I think that's beautiful to see,
Yeah, because I don't have a problem. He'll call me sometimes at work, Yolanda, stop and do this, and stop and do that for me. I don't have a problem, because I love doing that for him, because he deserves it, And even when he had announced, because it's been 2 years now since he retired. Even when he announced he was going to retire, I admit, and I told him, I felt some type of way at first, because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm sitting up here thinking he's gonna be sitting here and I'm still going to work. Like, wait a minute now. I felt some type of way, but then I had to think back, like, wait a minute, he deserves this.
Amen. That's
He
good.
worked 30 something plus years on his job, and then 10 years in the service. He deserves this.
That's good.
That's a great perspective. That is such a great perspective.
Yeah, he deserves it. But I think it was too fear, because remember, I was like, how we gonna pay these bills and you retired? But I wasn't even thinking, wait a minute, this man been putting back 401k, Social Security, his pension and stuff. It was just all these thoughts, like, wait a minute, we're gonna be okay. Because when I got laid off my job, I was laid off for a year. He did not complain not one time about me not working. He continued to went to work. And I was scared then. I was like, what are we going to do? I was only getting unemployment. I was like, what are we going to do? He said, it's going to be all right.
Come on.
It's going to be all right. He never complained. I still did the same thing, looking for a job. And that's when I realized, I said, you know what? I can completely put my life in his hands. Because
this is a powerful testimony. This is y'all. Woo! I hope people catching it, because I'm catching it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he never complained. I said, you know what? He never said a word. Never said a word.
Wow.
Even though we were tight, with things, but he never complained.
Yeah, what you just said stood out to me, and I just don't want to gloss over it. You said I can completely put life in his hands.
Yeah.
What place do you have to get to in order to surrender yourself to your spouse, man and woman?
Yeah.
I mean, let's just help somebody, because honestly, I think that there may be a lot of people that are in marriages and they're not completely, giving themselves to each other.
Yeah.
You gotta trust each other, for one thing. That's the main thing. You gotta trust each other. And that's the biggest thing I see is trust.
Yeah.
And have faith, that everything is gonna be okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then with the 3 promises, I don't know, because I had mentioned it before, he had made me 3 promises that he was going to take me out that situation, and he did that. And when he proposed, he said, I'm going to take you to Hawaii to get married. And we did that. And he said, the third and final thing, he said, I'm not going to buy you a house. I'm going to buy you a home. And he did all 3.
Yeah.
He did all 3.
Woo woo!
Yep. So he all right. I keep him.
Man. And we talk about the power of a good woman, but you were just stating the power of a good man.
Yes.
When a good man comes into a woman's life, I thank God for Mario. It changed. Come on.
What you thank God for?
It changes things. It changes the atmosphere. It changes the way you think. It changes the way you move in confidence and in bravery. It changes the direction you're going in your life. To have a really good man that can love you, can encourage you, can lead you, can take a good woman to a whole nother level. And that's the beauty of marriage. And maybe what people try to describe as like a power couple is this phenomenal woman meeting this phenomenal man, and God blessing this phenomenal marriage. Come on, y'all. We about to start. I'm about to start preaching so God can get phenomenal glory. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. And it was I think it got it from my niece's friend, and she was saying that if Joe had 2 peas and I had 1 pea, and we put that together, we got 3 peas. We finna do some powerful stuff in this marriage, because we can't function if he got his 2 peas over here and I got my 1 pea and we ain't bringing it together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think about that a lot, because we didn't have a lot, with each other, but when we brought it together, we had a whole world.
Yeah.
Joe, I have a question for you. When you got married to Yolanda, when you met her, you were 51. Then you guys got married a couple years later. Had you ever been married before?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was married. I got divorced way back in 83.
Okay. Did you ever?
I think it was 83 or 93 or something like that.
Okay. Did you ever think that you would find your soulmate, your purpose partner, at 51?
No, I was hoping I would, because the one that we broke up with, that wasn't nowhere close to being perfect. No. And
I think
that was a bad marriage from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I love about your story. It gives so much hope, the age that you were at. So we just want to encourage anybody. Again, this is 40 plus. And you really desire marriage. You really desire finding that person. Just know that even through Yolanda and Joe's testimony, that it is more than possible. I'm sure, Yolanda, after you got out of that bad marriage in your later 30s, you probably didn't think that God was going to have you run smack dab into Joe.
No. I did.
It took me a long time though. I was single for like 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, because I had said I left that courtroom after I got divorced. I said, I ain't gonna never do that no more.
Man, help somebody. You know
Yeah.
how many
Yeah, then I met her. Yeah, I was single for 15 years.
Yeah, about 15 years before you met me.
Mhm.
Wow.
I was by myself.
There's so many men that have that same sentiment, you know, that have
Yeah.
gone through a bad situation and they like, yep, I'm one and done. It's
Yeah.
over. I ain't doing it again.
Yeah.
But, you know, what changed your mind? Was it because of the time? So would you advise somebody to kind of give it some time, or would you?
Oh yeah, you definitely need to give it some time. Don't go down the street a year from now and get married. I don't think so. You know, I think you should give it some time. Even though I'm married now, I didn't know it would be that much time.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I had said to myself, I ain't getting married no more. But it didn't come out that way. It came out good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wendy.
Mhm.
That's awesome, man. So we just want to take a break real quick and just let everybody know. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening and following the 40 Plus podcast. We appreciate you so much. Our subscribers have gone up and up and up and up, and
Okay.
because of your help. So continue to spread the word, continue to get it out, because again, as you can tell, we are giving you some great content, something that's very valuable that can be used for those who are 40, not only those who are over 40, but those who may be tuning in. You can get some wisdom just by watching.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. With that being said, we're going to shift a little bit. We're going to talk about something that, you know, maybe not everybody would want to touch this topic, okay? So we're going to be honest. It's the 40 Plus podcast,
Yes.
right? So we're going to keep it all the way 100. So when you think about dating older or dating younger, one of the main concerns for most people is in the sexual department.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. So of course it crosses your mind, you know, what will things be like as we get older? You know, it may be what it is right now, but thinking ahead, will it be an issue? Will it be a concern? Will I be satisfied? And so we want to talk about being sexually satisfied at 40 plus, and what does that look like? And if you guys are open to share any of your experience or concerns, or you know, some of the thoughts that you had about it, and you know how, just talk to us. Tell us about that.
Okay. Well, you want me to talk?
Well, you know, the sexual part is, you know, that's a really important part, and you got to keep it going. You know, you got to keep your partner satisfied. I don't worry about myself. I have to keep my partner satisfied.
Come on.
You know, so it's a very important thing to think about and try to keep it going.
Yeah.
Don't just drift off nowhere and, you know, go off somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, and it was funny that you said that, because my dad, when he was talking to me, that was one of the things he had mentioned. He's like, you know, he's gonna get older, and you know you ain't gonna be able to do it. You know, I'm like, Daddy. You know, I'm like, what the world? I was like, what?
That's what the doctor for.
Hello.
Come on.
That's what Viagra for.
So, I mean, we keeping it real. We all we all wrong here. But yeah, yeah, for me, I, you know, once he said that, and I thought about it, and we talked about that. And because not only him, but for me too, because women, you know, with going through menopause, that changes too. You know, and I've gone through menopause, and that changes your desires and stuff. So we talked about that, and we went to our doctors, and we got help in what we needed to do. And we make it work. We have a sexual life. You know, some people don't want to hear it. You know, like when the kids see us kissing and hugging and playing, they be like, ew. I'm like, why you think you got here?
Right.
But yeah, we make it work, and we're happy about that. You know, I'm no shame in my game. Yeah, we have to get help with that.
Yeah.
You have to. And we're not the only couple. You know, it's going to be when you get to a certain age, you're going to need some help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about on a previous episode just being transparent and honest about our sexual needs and relationships, what we look for, and just being open, our sexual history, being vulnerable. We talked about that in a previous episode because it's so important. We see a lot of marriages that are affected because the couple won't even be open and honest and transparent about what they need or what they're thinking or changes. And it really can bring you closer. We talked about intimacy in one of the previous episodes and just talked about how it can be so intimate to just talk with your partner about sex and what that entails and the dynamics of that within the marriage, the relationship, you know, which should be marriage. But yeah, we definitely talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. And I can tell, I can tell with him when, you know, he'd be like, come over, Yolanda, what are you doing? I said, what? And, you know, he's done that to me at work. He'll call me at work. You want a treat? That's my signal.
Let's go, treats.
That's my signal. And when he did me at work, like I'm like, you know I'm at work, right? He's like, I just asked you a question. Do you want a treat? So that's his little thing. So and he's done it around people, but nobody knew what he was talking about. I knew what he was talking about. So that means it's time to leave this social event and let's go.
Yeah. And that's so good to have those, to be able to flirt with each other throughout the day and connect with each other. That was cute.
Yeah. Gotta keep it funky, gotta keep it spicy.
Yeah, you do. And even at church, when we getting ready for church, I know what he likes. I know because I wear 3 and 4 inch heels, and he loves that. So I just go, you know, put my little foot out, and he looking like, okay, all right, I know what he like.
Y'all gonna be late to church today?
Yes, we're gonna be late. or even when, you know, he put on, because he's an usher at church, and I love when he wears his usher uniform, and I'll look him up and down, and he put on his Savage Dior. I'd be like, okay, Mr. Adams, you looking all right here. Okay, all right, you know. I said, don't let me cut no broad now.
Keep your eyes over there.
And he'd be like, what? I said, don't let me cut a broad, because I will.
I love it.
And we would laugh about it, you know, we just laugh.
Yeah.
Something funny, you know, and he does that. And he'll like, okay, Mrs. Adams. Like, hey.
Man, I love it. I love it. Have you guys, let me ask you another personal question. Have you guys dealt with who's the initiator or not being initiating enough, and you know, any of those type of things?
Too.
Yeah.
We hear that that's pretty common in marriage, and you know, as far as us, we try to stay on top of that, so neither one of us are feeling.
You initiated, I didn't want it.
What was that?
I'm usually the one that do that.
He initiated, and sometimes I don't want it, and then I could tell when he's upset with it because he'll walk away slowly.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, Joe, and he'll like, yeah. I said, okay, he's mad.
No, I don't be mad.
Yeah, you do.
That ain't bad.
That is bad. Because I'll be like, Joe, and he'll be like, yeah. And then I'm like, okay, that time if I turn him down, he'll be like, yeah. I said, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
There you go.
Yeah, we've had those, you know, those moments where, you know, that he's initiated and I didn't because I wasn't in the mood or something like that. But that we talked about it, and that was in the beginning when it first started happening. And I didn't realize menopause was doing that to me. And when I talked to my doctor and stuff and got the help about it, because she said that what happens with a lot of women when they're going through menopause, their sexual desires can go down.
Yeah.
And so that's when I talk about, it's like, I got to do something because I can't have nobody else messing with my man now.
Right.
And that's important to us, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the conversation. You were about to add something.
Oh no, she answered it actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love the fact that there's conversation about it, because the more that you have conversation about things that are important in the marriage, the easier it is to get on one accord.
Mhm.
You know, but to just gloss over it or not address it or to start to develop resentment or feelings that push us away, it's no point, you know. But to be able to talk about that and know our partner and know the signals, and I think flirting throughout the day, again, I can't express that enough. I've heard so many couples say that they kind of feel like the love has died because they're not flirting throughout the day, they're not engaging throughout the day. Even, and you guys, for those of us that are listening to the story, even if we go back, Yolanda, you said even when you're into it, when y'all get on that phone, when you get in the car, he talking to you on the way to work. And so that's even starting the day off with Joe and Yolanda. We are one, we are in this together, there is love. And so it makes it harder for the enemy to get in there and cause dissension when you are so tightly knit all throughout the day. You know, that's amazing.
Yeah, and we've heard that before. I forgot who had said that, told us that we were too close with each other. And
Somebody
I'm like,
told y'all that, huh?
huh?
Somebody actually told y'all that?
Yeah, that we were too close because we grocery shop together, and we have to be careful going grocery shopping because Mr. Adams over here, he just throws stuff in the basket, and I'd be like, "Look, Joe, we ain't got this kind of money." Then he'd be like, "Shut up, woman," and you know, be playing, and folks be looking.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I love that.
So, but we have to be careful.
we going on the grocery shopping day with them.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we have fun, you know. And I'd be like, Joe, we can't get that this week, you know. Nah, we gonna get it. I was like, okay, you get it. I leave it alone.
Do you guys still date at your ages? Are you intentional about dating, or how often do you spend time outside the home?
A lot, though. You know, pretty much.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, and especially when we go on vacation.
Oh, good.
But we cruise every year.
Okay.
That's the one thing that we made a promise that we would take a vacation every year.
Yeah,
That'd be our time. And when we on the cruises, we totally different. I think we're worse, don't you think? I think we're worse.
Wow. Can you guys just type in the comments wherever you're watching this? Just type friendship. Just type love. Just type laughter. Just type hashtag Joe and Yolanda. I mean, if you don't feel the love in this episode and what God can do when he puts two people together that are equally yoked. And again, I love you guys' testimony because you're not saying that it's perfect, but we're able to see a very clear picture of what love can look like for us, you know?
Yeah.
Wonderful. I want to go into another topic. You have a question?
Go ahead.
Okay. The fear pertaining to death, because the age difference was 13 years. Joe, we know you mentioned to us off camera and as we were doing the pre-interview that there are some concerns with Yolanda, and tell us a little bit about that.
She don't really, it's hard to get her to talk about that. But like I tell her, you know, there's probably a 90% chance that I would die before she will. Because I'm 13, almost 14 years older than she is. It don't bother me to talk about it. I ain't ready to die, but it's just something you should think about every once in a while.
Yeah,
but she don't really want to talk about that.
I have a question.
No, it's hard to get her to talk about it.
Yeah. How has the health journey been with you guys since you've been together? Has there been a health scare or something, Yolanda, that kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to talk about for you?
When I had that blood clot.
Well, when she had a blood clot, that was her had a blood clot, and she collapsed in the bedroom. I called 911 because I thought she had a heart attack. But she said, "Help me up." I said, "No, that ain't no heart attack." But the fire department came and they said, "No, a person just don't collapse for nothing." And they took to the hospital a little blood clot in a lung about the size of a pinhead, and that caused all that. Now that really scared me.
Yeah.
You know, it scared me a lot that time.
Yeah.
That's because, you know, somebody just get up and say, "I can't breathe," and collapse. That's the first thing you think about. A heart attack,
Yeah.
you know, or a stroke, real bad stroke or something, you know. And we ain't had no problem with that no more. Yeah, they got rid of that. So, but we can't go on no long plane ride neither.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the doctor told us don't go on that no more. Cause we were talking about going back to Hawaii, but sitting down like that could cause another blood clot.
Absolutely.
And they said don't if you can avoid it, don't do it. And it's hard to get a flight from here to the West Coast and then from the West Coast to Hawaii. Usually they want to send you to Atlanta, Delta.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go to Atlanta and then you fly all the way back across the country to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we kind of had to cut that out.
Gotcha.
So we just keep going on the cruises every year. So that was a 7-day cruise, a good cruise. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. So Yolanda, I personally, I don't know if you remember my testimony with the blood clot as well.
Yeah.
So that touches home. Did they end up offering you or putting you on any blood thinners at all, or
Yeah,
just...
I was on warfarin. I was on warfarin for a while, and then every year now I do a genetics lab testing to make sure my risk is lower. Then they said that what happened was because I had surgery 2 weeks prior to that,
Yeah.
I had a hysteroscopy done where I had a lot of scar tissue, and they thinking that's where it came from. All the blood clot, the blood clot shot to my lung. And that's what they were thinking. And so they put me on the warfarin. I was on that, and then I got off that, but I'm still on an aspirin regimen for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I still do the genetics testing once a year to make sure the risk is very, very low. And it is. It's been, thank God for that, because they said it could have been fatal.
Absolutely.
Blood clots are fatal.
Yeah.
And thank God he was able to call 911, and they got me to the hospital and stuff, and they figured out right away what was going on.
Yeah.
And it was a blood clot. Luckily, it didn't move anywhere else. Thank God.
Mm.
But yeah, that was a big scare right there, for us.
Yeah. Health is definitely a big topic that, we're talking about the age differences and some, not even age differences, just health, period.
Mm-hmm.
You said in this scenario, you were the one that had a health challenge, and it scared Joe, and so it's something that God forbid we have to deal with at some point. We all deal with some type of health concerns or issues. So I know it's a topic that we don't like to talk about because we love our spouses. We never want to lose them, and we're gonna hold on as tight as long as we can. And so we just thank God and just praying for great health with you guys, and just for those of you that's listening, great health and long life. So, but we do understand the fear pertaining to it, because it's like, we talk about, man, I hope we go either at the same time or because I don't know what things will be. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's hard because I had even mentioned it to him, when he'll talk about it. I was like, I don't want to talk about that right now. And he was like, Yolanda, I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I said, because how I feel is God gave him, and put him in my life, and I don't want him to go away.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be taken away from me. And I had told him, and he was like, well, what if something happened to me? I said, if something happened to you, I'm getting a dog. Because I am not going to be dealing with these crazy people out here in this world. Because I know how he's treated me. And he's, how he's respected me. And I don't think, it's probably, other good men out there. It is other good men out there. I can't say it's not, because it is other good men out there. But for me, I know how he's treated me. I know what he's done for me. And I don't know if I could go through that, road to try and go dating again.
Yeah.
If something happens to me. That's why I said I'll get a dog or something. A little puppy to keep me occupied.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think I could. And I don't think I could bring another man into this house that he has built for us together. That's just, me. I can't speak for anybody else, but that's just for me.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it.
To that, a lot of people have the same feelings and emotions you know, about if they were to lose their current mate.
Mhm.
That's like, this is my person, this
Mhm.
is my soulmate, and after this, yeah, Lord, I'm just gonna be waiting to see you.
Mhm. Yeah.
A lot of people feel that way. That's a common, you know,
Mhm.
thing that people say. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would have a problem with my pictures. My wedding pictures on the wall in there. I ain't throwing that away. If a
Yeah.
person would come over, you're gonna just have to leave. 'Cause I ain't, you know, 'cause I ain't throwing my wedding pictures away.
Yeah.
No, I ain't gonna do it. And plus, like I said, I'm too old. I'm too old to be worried about stuff like that anyway.
Yeah.
The way I look at it, I'm 68. If somebody want to deal with that, then they can just be on their way.
Yeah.
You know. So
This is good. So Yolanda, from here, I guess, did it make it a little bit more easier to kind of talk about it in the setting with all of us? I know Joe said a lot of times when you guys have to talk about anything surrounding that, that you just get quiet and it's not
Yeah.
a lot of dialogue. But how do you feel now, just being able, because you did share a little piece. Did it feel a little better to be able to share it
Yeah.
on the podcast tonight?
Yeah, it did. It did, because usually when he brings that up, he's like, I don't want to talk about it, and I walk away.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and he was like, Yolanda, I don't want to hear it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did make it a little easier to talk about it.
Definitely. Yeah, praying that God can give us the strength, all married couples, to cover those difficult topics like this one, and to find joy and peace and strength, even in the planning process of that. Mario and I are in our 40s, and the Lord has really been pressing upon our heart, having children. We have a granddaughter. Just preparation, and wisdom that we'll need to use when it comes to life insurance policies and wills, because we're newlyweds. We've only been married 6 months, but we know there are some things that we need to cover and some things that we need to get in order, for, Lord forbid, if I leave this earth or he leaves this earth. So it is difficult, you know, foresee that or think about it or talk about it, but just praying that God gives us the strength to cover it all. Like we talked about children, and we talked about sex, and we talked about how we got together, and we'll have to talk about the planning of what's next, because those of us who are Christians, we know that we won't be here forever, and that we will be meeting our Father, and so to plan and prepare for that.
Yeah.
That's good. Very good topic. Yes. Wow. We are just honored to have you guys. And it's been a wonderful show. Been an awesome show. One of our best so far. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any last words that you may want to share with listeners that you want them to know? You can feel free to speak from your heart, and then we'll be wrapping up.
Okay. First, you want me to go first?
just keep the faith. And like this pastor told us that married us, he said, be kind to each other.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, be kind to each other. And that stuck in my head when he said that. I've never heard nothing in a wedding ceremony that said, be kind to each other, but that's what he said. Yeah.
It's so simple, but so powerful.
Yeah. And for me, just laugh, you know, live your best life. Because right now we're not rich, but we're living our best life.
Come on.
Yeah.
We are, you know, just laughing and respecting each other. Yeah, we're not perfect, but we're perfect for each other.
That's it.
You know, and I love that, because each day is, you know, it's a wonderful day for us, because some people thought that we weren't going to last a year, and we've been married for 15 years.
And counting. Yes.
Yeah, and counting. So that's what we do, you know, just laugh, you know, have fun. Don't be uptight and serious all the time. Wring that towel, let it go and float.
Yes. Good. That's good. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I know I do. I would love to have Joe and Yolanda back more often. When I tell you, I'm sure there's so much more stuff about your life, your testimony, that we didn't even get to unpack. But even what you've shared tonight, I think is so good for people to think about and simmer on and pray about and get encouraged and just to give us real conversations for those 40 and over. You know, topics that maybe we want to gloss over or that we don't want to dig into. I think we cover a lot. And the number one thing that I will remember always about this episode is to be able to see God's love through you guys. It is more than evident that God is in your marriage, that God is in your laughter, that God is in your life, and even the light that is shining on you now that we're looking at. It's more than obvious that God has blessed you guys. Just so grateful to spend this time with you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to say, and thank you guys for being so real, so genuine, so honest and transparent. And, you know, speaking of laughter, y'all had us laughing all throughout this. And she talked about a moment that she's going to remember about just sharing this love with you all and seeing the love radiating. And I'm going to remember Mr. Joe talked about my jacket, y'all. I don't even know it.
Hey, I was just saying, ain't it hot down there?
Is it hot? Is it hot there?
I told you to behave.
With a leather jacket on, sir.
I told y'all we be silly and goofy with each other.
I'm trying to be stylish. You know,
Oh, yeah, it look good.
Look at us and know that we fly.
Hey, it look good now.
Yeah, I told you to behave. I told you. I told you to behave.
But thank you all for your time. And,
you're welcome.
And this episode will be airing very soon. We'll give you the details, and hopefully you can help us spread this word and share with your friends and family, and maybe they'll share with their friends and family as well. This is a platform that we're building from the ground up, and I don't know if you've ever started anything from scratch, but it takes hard work, and so we're committed to it, and we couldn't do it without you guys and support. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much. This is the 40 Plus Podcast.
I'm your host, Kimberly Marie Brown.
Mario J. Brown, and we are signing off. God bless you all.
God bless.
See you guys next time.
Bye.